everybody, welcome back. I am your host, Joe JDF Foster. Sorry I haven't been on for the last couple of weeks. I caught the flu and been out sick, among other things. So, anyways, today I decided I'm going to do more than one film of sorts. Well, I'm going to mainly focus on one, but I'm going to also discuss another film or two in the process as well. And these films can all be found on Tubi app. I mean, the Tubi movie app, TUBI movie app. So I recommend going on there if you're looking for something. Anyways, today's film is Finding Neverland from 2004, which, as many of you will recall, was the story based around the idea of how they supposedly came up with this play, Peter Pan. It's a 2004, as I stated, it's a 2004 film. It starred Johnny Depp, Kate Winslet, Dustin Hoffman, and it also reflects the story of J.M. Barrie's friendship with the family, though it presents it in a slightly different way in this version from the real-life version of it was said to have been portrayed. Now, on to something I didn't know. This film was actually nominated for 7 Oscars, but it actually won 1. The 6 were reflective in different areas, but the one it won in was the 2005 Best Achievement in Music Written for Motion Picture Original Score, which basically means it had the best music for the movie that year. Now for some side notes on this. Johnny Depp was so impressed with one of the kid actors in this movie, that when he chose to redo the when he chose to do the Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory remake known as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the child that played Charlie was actually Johnny Depp's first choice and high recommendation for the role. Also, as with the movie, it was and still is common practice for a woman to play the title role of Peter Pan in the play. Also, there's a scene in the movie that was cut where Dustin Hoffman was supposed to read through the playbill dressed as Captain Hook. But due to having previously played Captain Hook in the Robin Williams movie Hook and not liking it, Hoffman clearly stated to the director, Mark Forster, I'm not going to play Hook again. So instead, the director and the writers actually went back and rewrote the scene so that he wouldn't have to do it. He wouldn't have to read it dressed as Hook. Okay. And overall, I do recommend the Finding Neverland as a movie to be seen, because I think it explores the idea of how Peter Pan came to be and the way that it focuses on the story of Peter Pan rather than the real life outside thing actually helps to make the story much better for that reason alone. Whereas, it'll show the scenes where Hook has them on the ship, and he's trying to convert them into becoming pirates for him. Or where the children, or where they're dealing with the crocodile that has the clock in its mouth. I may be wrong, and that's an alligator. I keep forgetting which way it actually goes. But anyways, and while I would not put this above Hook, I would put this above the original Peter Pan that Disney did way back when in the animated version. And also, like I said, I think this one does better at exploring the backstory of Peter Pan rather than just trying to make something up in the process. Okay. Now, I would like to go off and discuss some other films that I was thinking of doing and why I chose not to do them in such detail. First is Gremlin from 2017. It's listed as a horror film. Initially, this film's design and the look for it makes it look like it was going to be a replication of the Gremlins franchise that we all know and love from the 80s and early 90s with Gizmo, as well as the minor moments of comedy that we all have come to know. With this film, though, however, I ended up losing interest, and it seemed to do more dragging on in the movie rather than actually having moments of comedy or horror or anything to resemble an actual story. Okay, the idea for this one, rather than, oh, you're going to take this gift and something's going to go horribly wrong and make a great comedy thing out of it, the idea is whoever gets this creature that lives inside this box, the only way for them to get rid of it is to pass it on to somebody they love. So basically, they have to curse somebody they love in order for them to get rid of the curse themselves. If they don't, then the curse kills them, and the box just moves on to somebody else. Then it doesn't actually have any real story. Well, when this first starts, this guy, it's him and his wife, and, well, the box starts lighting up, this nice little green pattern. Well, it finally reaches this final moment, and the monster killed. And the monster comes out of the box, kills the woman, then goes back in the box. The man is shown shooting the thing. This thing is indestructible. Well, what's interesting about this is that later on, it shows that they can shoot this thing, apparently, and actually hurt it. So, the film's continuity errors themselves hurt the film as well. But then this guy decides, okay, he's got nothing better to live. He's got nothing to live for, so he's going to go ahead and get rid of the box. So how does he decide to do it? He's going to go to his 90-year-old mother. He's going to go to his 70, 80, 90-year-old mother and give her this box as a gift. And then hears that, oh, the family is here, by the way. His family is here, by the way. He goes, oh, God, and runs off. later on, it's revealed this creature survives by killing. It doesn't care what it kills. It lives on killing. It prefers to kill those that somebody loves, because that way I don't know, it basically lives off of it. But like there's one person it kills very early in the film who was the boyfriend to this girl, and they didn't like the guy. So the guy decides he's going to take the box, thinking he'd take it as showing his love for the girl. Well, the markings on the box change to a red color instead, and this monster comes out of the box and actually hunts him down and kills him. But like I said, this film was horrible overall, and it dragged on. And despite its title, it's nothing related to the previous films. So if you're wanting something that seems kind of long and tries to fit into a horror movie department, you might actually enjoy this. But I don't recommend it personally. Also, and another reason I believe that this might actually have been part of the Gremlins setup is because since 2014, they have been supposedly working on a Gremlins 3. So when I saw the movie was Gremlin, I mistook it and thought it was what it was. And then I watched the movie and wondered what it actually was. And actually, I watched it twice to give it a fair shot and make sure. Okay, another film that came out is from 2014. Tales of Poe. It's another movie that's a horror film. It wasn't bad overall, but it wasn't as great as trailers and things had made it out to seem. The idea of this movie is it takes 3 of Edgar Allan Poe's stories and makes modern versions of them, so to speak. Thing is, I remember reading a lot of Poe stuff since I was a kid, and there's one story they make in this movie called Dreams. I don't remember having ever heard of until I saw this movie. So I was a little lost in the process. Overall, not bad, but like I said, overall this movie wasn't bad. It was actually pretty decent, but at the same time, it wasn't as great as they made it out to seem. And another Edgar Allan Poe movie that they made, Poe's Poetry of Horror or something like that. Basically, they took 8 tales by Edgar Allan Poe. 8 different directors came together and came up with different Edgar Allan Poe stories and made them into one movie. But it's leveled off by little segments still. Now this one was bad. Initially, I thought, hey, 8 Edgar Allan Poe stories, at least 1 or 2 of them is going to be good. I actually sat through this thing and wondered why I chose to. Well, then I saw they made a sequel, and I was like, okay, so they made 8 more. We'll give them a chance and see how it fits. Turns out the sequel was just as bad, if not worse, than the original, and nobody could win with the way they did it. And like I said, those two movies were so bad, I forget what the actual name for it is. What the actual name for them is. I think it's Project. It's Poe, Project of Evil. That's what the name of it was. But the idea is it takes 8 Edgar Allan Poe stories and makes a movie out of them, and then they made a sequel where it takes 8 more and does it again. Personally, I would go with Poe. I'd go with Tales of Poe from 2014, which is a really good film. Even though it wasn't like woohoo miracle stuff, it wasn't that bad a film, and it actually focused on the stories being done correctly. And also, like I stated, the movie from 2017 called Gremlin, I do not recommend it. I give that a D at best, or a 2-star. And now, also, yeah, a lot of people something about the Finding Neverland, the line Hoffman stated during the script reading, where he said he wouldn't play Hook again, and they changed it, is a direct reference to the fact that he actually played Hook in the movie Hook with Robin Williams. Robin Williams plays the grown-up version of Peter Pan. And I thought he was actually really good in the role, considering how they played that movie. But now, him not wanting to play it, that's his choice, and I can actually respect it with Hoffman because he actually is a good actor and does tend to know when something isn't going to work for him. But another thing about this movie, with this movie overall, I give it a B plus, or 3.5 to 4 stars, because while it wasn't perfect, it wasn't it wasn't something I'd just thrown away. Now, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, as much as I like Johnny Depp's acting, I wanted to hurt him for that movie, because that was a horribly done remake, or retelling anyways, of that movie. Then there's although that can be said of a lot of films, that taking on a remake of a role or a character does tend to ruin it, and there are actually very few that can do it correctly. Depp has his moments where he does really well in some roles, and other roles, it's better if he had avoided them. This one, he plays Sir J.M. Barrie. I forget what the J.M. stands for, even though I know it's his name. But he actually did really well in this film. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on the films I discussed today, as especially with Finding Neverland, as well as what you think I should do for an upcoming video. And until then, I'm out.